Hello again, scholars. The next part of our lesson, we are going to create a foldable about the divisions of the earth. At the end, it'll look something like this. So in a moment, I will come around and pass out 3 pieces of paper. Press pause until you have 3 pieces of paper. So once you have the 3 pieces of paper, go ahead and move them so that they're about 2 inches apart each, like this. Press pause if you need more time. Then you're going to fold the top towards the bottom. So that each one, so now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different flaps, about the same size each. Once you've done that, crease it, realign it like this, and then I will come around and staple it. Okay, and now it looks like this. On each of these slabs, we are going to write the different divisions of the earth. We're going to start with the smallest here and go down to the biggest at the bottom. So the smallest division of earth is a city. So write in big letters with your pencil, city. It should look like this. On the next one down, write state, then continent, hemisphere, and finally world. Then draw arrows going down to show from the smallest to the largest. At this point, it should look just like this. The next step is you're going to draw a small picture on one side of each of the flaps. So starting with city, I drew a map of Ohio, and I drew Cleveland and put a dot by Cleveland. Then I drew an arrow pointing towards Cleveland. You can do a couple different things for city. You could draw buildings, tall buildings and homes, or you can do what I did. Go ahead and do that. If you need to pause, please press pause. The next picture is going to be state. For me, I just drew the state of Ohio, just like this. It doesn't need to be perfect. If you want to choose another state, that's fine. Look at the maps around the classroom. They should be able to help you draw one of the states. And make sure you label which state it is. Ohio, Kentucky, California, etc. For country, I drew the United States. Just drew a quick outline of the country and then wrote the word United States in the middle. Don't worry about coloring. We'll go back and color later. You should not be coloring yet. You may choose other countries that you know the shape of. So if you know the shape of Canada or Mexico or Brazil, you may do that too. But you either have to do it from memory or from something that you can see in your seat on the board. The next is continent. I drew South America, but if I was to do it again, I'd probably do North America, since I did Cleveland, Ohio, United States, which is the city, state, and country that we live in. So I'd probably do North America, but feel free to do South America or any of the other continents that you know if you can see a map and draw it, or if you know it from memory. So 2 more. Next we have a hemisphere. For that picture, you're going to draw half of the earth, so just a half circle, and then you're going to put continents inside of that circle. So I drew North America and South America because I showed the Western Hemisphere. And then again, we'll go back in color later on. And last but not least is, of course, the world. So circle, draw a circle, put a couple continents on it, be ready to shade it in later on. And now you have your words and your pictures. It should look like this, except yours should be an opposite, so that the city should be at the top and the world should be at the bottom. On the inside, we're going to put the definition and a couple of examples. So open the first tab, which is city. You are going to write the definition and examples on this tab. The first thing you need to do is to get a straight edge. So you grab maybe your yearbook, you put it straight up and down, and just draw a line up and down halfway through the page. So you need it halfway so that one side can be the definition and one side can be the examples. Then you're going to write the word definition and the word example. So, for example, let's look at my cities. So, definition of a city: a small area of land where many people live. If you need to pause to write that definition, please do. Definition of a city: a small area of land where many people live. Notice I have a line midway. I've written the word example, and I've written the word definition. So for examples, I wrote Cleveland, London, Washington, D.C., Mexico City, and Quebec. You can choose your own cities. Any cities is fine. Now, you're going to have this space right here to write the names of those cities. So on one side, you should have the definition, an area of land where many people live. On the other side, you should have as many cities as you want to list and can fit. The next one is going to be the state. So our definition for a state is an organized area inside of a country. An organized area inside of a country. So I write definition, I write example, I draw a line, a straight line using a straight edge down the middle, and I give my definition, and then I'm going to give some examples. So for my examples, I wrote Ohio, I wrote Tennessee, I wrote Colorado, California, Virginia, and New York. You can choose any states that you want. That's your choice. I also listed down here synonyms. So words that mean the same thing. So territory, province, and county are in other countries what they call states. So for example, Canada, they don't have states, they have provinces. Other countries like England have counties, they don't have states. Please make sure you have your definition, an organized area inside of a country, your synonyms, territory, province, and county, and you have a bunch listed. And I wrote them sideways and slanty. You can write them however you want. You could write all 50 states if you want. Probably don't have time to do that, so I'd probably choose just a few of them. So we have city, we have state, so we're getting bigger. So next after a state is a country. So our definition for a country is an area of land with its own government. So the United States, we have our own government. We have the president, we have Congress, we have the judicial branch. So we are an area of lands, and we have our own government. Pause if you need to write this definition. On the other side of the page, I wrote examples. United States, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Chile, and El Salvador. If you don't know if something's a country, you think maybe it's a state, or city, or continent, just raise your hand. I'll let you know if it's a country or if it's not a country. Okay, so we have city, state, country. Now we're on continent. So we know our 7 continents: North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, and Antarctica. So remember, we're opening that tab underneath continent. You're going to write the definition on the left, draw a straight line down, example on the right. So my definition, we know that a continent is the largest landmass on Earth, largest pieces of land on Earth. Example, I wrote all 7 of them: Africa, Australia, Antarctica, Asia, North America, South America, and Europe. You need to write at least 4. If you want to write all 7, that's going above and beyond. There's obviously nothing that you can write besides those 7. So after a continent, we have a hemisphere. So our definition for a hemisphere is 1/2 of the Earth. An example is going to be the Western Hemisphere, the Southern Hemisphere. You could also do the Eastern Hemisphere, Northern. As long as you have 2 hemispheres, you are golden. So that brings us to our last one, world. Our definition for world is the Earth, its countries, people, and natural features. If you need to pause, please pause. The Earth, its countries, people, and natural features. An example, planet Earth. So there are other examples of worlds. I don't want you to get into that. Please only write one example, planet Earth. So when you're done, your foldable should look like this. On the inside, you should have your definitions. You should have your examples. Now the last step is to color. So when you need colored pencils, just raise your hand and I will direct you to go get colored pencils. Please do not get up without permission. This is what your color should look like. Okay. So once you have that done, you've completed your foldable. This is going to be a grade, and I will check it off, and then it's for you to study.